Your call. The time has come. The angels rise up and show the way. Across the valley where the shadows lie, Carrie walks, the moon in her eyes, cards in her hand, secrets unfold, truths untold in whispers bold. Her words like streams, they softly flow, lessons bound where few dare go. 5 paths she's walked, 5 lives she's led. Wisdom blooms where angels tread. Carrie the healer, the sake, the light, guiding the lost through the darkest night, with tarot's truth and a heart so wide. The 5 lessons call from the other side. Stars above and the earth's embrace, each turn of the card a sacred place. She speaks of love, she speaks of pain. In life's deep well we're born again.
Well, hello everyone to Carrie Kohan's Mystic Compass. Isn't that amazing? The music that Glenn Rohatton makes for us. I tell you, he disappears into his studio and you wonder what he's up to, right, Tammy? And then we're thinking, oh, we're going to start the song or start the music in the intro. And this sultry music comes in. All I could think of was Kim Basinger in 9.5 Weeks doing that striptease, with the Venetian blinds behind her. All I could see was her doing that. So probably not the vision that you had, Glenn, but that was what I was seeing. So so thank you for getting everyone. We were talking about getting, your mojo going, getting your juices, getting your energy going. And I think that song will do it. So welcome everyone. We have a great show for you today. Glenn, are you in the house?
I am here, Miss Cohen. And yes, the intention of that song was not to create that image in your mind. No, not at all. It was, for those of you that don't know, Carrie will be parting back to Europe very soon. And last night she went out with a little fun excursion with some friends. And I thought I'd put some kind of, some atmospheric music. That one of the places she could have went was to a jazz club or to a karaoke club or to a dance club. And anything you want to talk about your talk about your whole day yesterday, because it was quite the whole full day for you.
Oh, what did we do the whole full day? I don't even remember. I just remember last night.
Storage locker.
Oh,
K-Days.
yes. Okay. Oh, K-Days was yesterday. Yes. Oh, gosh. That was just yesterday, was it? That feels like
this is what I have to deal with, folks.
Well,
I feel like, how the politicians get speeches written for them, and in the background they have their little assistant going, say this, Carrie. Say this, Carrie. K-Days, Carrie. K-Days.
K-Days. Yeah,
K-Days.
yeah. Well, since I can say this, since the near-death experience, which was like 30 some odd years ago, time is not relevant for me. I don't have concept of time. I miss appointments. I do all kinds of stuff because time is like, and K-Days yesterday feels like at least 2-3 days ago. So we went to K-Days, which, for those that don't know, in Edmonton, Alberta, it's like it was the Klondike Days, but they don't call it the Klondike Days anymore, right? It's a festival, it's a fair, but they have a huge auditorium, or a couple, stadiums filled with vendors. And so you can get all kinds of stuff from, cotton candy right up to, you got your electricity redone. So, what was it now? Power and gas. So they got it reduced greatly by going to K-Days. Woohoo! That was pretty exciting, right? I got a psychic reading from another psychic, and actually she was pretty good. Victoria was her name. And yeah, she was a palmist. She does numerology and palm reading and all kinds of stuff. And so it was really neat getting my palms read, because I read palms as well. I was taught by an elder probably 35 years ago now, or 40 years ago. And she was seeing virtually the same kind of things, but there were a few other things that she would see, like she was reading in the thumb, which I don't read. So it was a great education, actually, and she was good. So if you're going to K-Days, go see Victoria and tell her Carrie sent you. Okay, that'll be interesting, because we really got along. She was a lovely lady. Anyways, and then from there I caught up with some friends, and we impromptu went out for drinks. And I don't drink, but we went to Gracie's, which, if you're in the Edmonton area, Gracie's is kind of an iconic place in St. Albert. And it is Gracie herself. She's 70 something, 71, 72, I believe. And she's an artist, and she wanted to open an art gallery because she has so much artwork. Like, this place is extraordinary. I don't know if you can pull anything up of Gracie's place in St. Albert, but she is so unique. She's just absolutely lovely, but she's an artist. So her whole bar is filled with artwork, and she does portraits of famous people like Marilyn Monroe and James Dean, and so it's a really beautiful atmosphere. Last night was karaoke, and it was a little different. I'm not into heavy metal, and a lot of the songs were that, but there were some really good songs as well. They were all good songs, but we had a great time. I absolutely love it there. It's one of my favorite places in Edmonton. And seeing that we're going right away, or I'm going, I always say we, it's me and my spirits and I. and Tammy we were just sitting down here. This is their living room area. And Tammy turned to me and she goes, "You realize this is the last time that we're doing a podcast from here." Yeah, there's Gracie. There's Gracie right in the center, and she's got her fur vest on. She is a hoot. Now, there is a video online about her. If you want to go and take a look in YouTube, look up Gracie, Gracie Jane's Boutique bar, I think it is. And yeah, there it is. The Love Gracie documentary. It is an amazing insight in this extraordinary woman. So I went out back, and a lot of them were having cigarettes, right? And so it's kind of the gathering place there. You go out the back door. And Gracie was giving counsel to a few of the younger people there. And the wisdom that was coming out of this woman's mouth, I tell you, I was just in awe. I thought, this woman has a heart of gold. I just absolutely love her. And she is all about community. So you can see when you go there, it is every age group. You have anywhere from 19 up to, 80s, 90s, and it is so much fun. It's just a community gathering place. So if you're in the area, that's my plug for Gracie's. I highly recommend checking her out. And she's open in the afternoon as well. You can, in fact, if you want to have paint lessons or, sit down and paint with her, she often paints there. So you can go in and say, "Hey, Gracie, Carrie was telling me that you do paintings with some people." And she'll be like, "Yeah, come next Tuesday and, and we'll get together and we'll paint in here before we actually open up, the bar part." So she's a lot of fun. I hope she's still doing that now that I've promised it.
So it sounds like a fun day yesterday. Pretty busy day. One of the
Well,
weather was pretty good. Rained a little bit on us at K days, but otherwise it turned out to be a fun day for you. So that's good.
well,
Good.
I feel hungover. I got to tell you, we were up till 2 a.m. and then I was, I've had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours sleep. So I came through. It was like the walk of shame. I feel like a teenager coming home. I walked into Tammy and Glenn's house at 10 o'clock this morning, and they were like, "Uh-huh, you stayed out all night, right?" I said, "I'm married, so there was no men, there's no alcohol, there's no drugs. I just had a really good time." So anyways, it was fun.
Yes, she did walk in like a, teenage girl, head down a little bit low. What are they going to say? Oh no.
Yeah,
But we
sorry
are
for
here.
staying out.
We are here. Let's do a few housekeeping things before we bring our guest in, who is in the green room enjoying some good Canadian maple syrup and Tim Hortons donuts. Not really, but they're virtual. Just pretend they're there, Erikka. Just pretend you're having some donuts. So a few housekeeping things. As Carrie mentioned, she is heading back to Europe on
Yeah.
Tuesday. And so we will be not be having a Tuesday or Wednesday or Friday show next week. We hope to resume on Wednesday,
Oh, we will.
August the 6th.
Yeah, not hoping, we will.
We
Yeah,
will.
August 6th. Yes.
Even if we can't, we will. We will be there.
We will be there, man.
So
Yeah.
everyone send your best vibes to Carrie on her trip back next Tuesday morning. And again, at that point, we will be switching to just a little bit of a change, cutting out one of the shows per week because Carrie was doing an evening show on Wednesday nights. However, that would be, 3 o'clock in the morning in Portugal. And even though Carrie would probably still be awake, it's a little bit too early in the morning there for her.
Yeah.
So the Mystic Compass will return Wednesday, August the 6th, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Those will be the free reading shows as we usually do. And then the Friday shows like today will be guests and decoding of different events.
Yep.
So again, mark that on your calendar. As well, if you missed our last show, we're not going to talk about it today, but if you did miss our last show and you're kind of watching the world today, watching current events and watching, different government officials step to the podium and speak about certain things, well, Carrie had nailed this a long time ago. She had said, watch out, and we see it playing forth
For this
now.
guy. Watch out for this guy and Operation, what you see, the word right there. Can't really say it out loud because it is highly classified, and there's a lot to be seen there. They've scrubbed it clean, so it's not about what it really is now on the net, but it will come out. I think this is part of what we're going to be seeing.
So
Mark
again,
my
check
words.
out the Tuesday show where Carrie goes into a lot more detail on that.
Mhm.
Also, coming up in a few minutes, we have our next guest on Hello, My Name Is Up Close and Personal, and a little bit of a twist today. And we'll get to that a little bit later, but Erikka Rainey will be joining us.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a guest on our show, reach out to Tammy at admin@carriekohan.com. If you're one of our Twitch subscribers, you can automatically become a guest. Just reach out to Tammy and we'll set up a time for you. And yeah, we'd love to have you on. We always like to meet new people and show them off to our community.
Well,
Also,
speaking of, yeah, one thing there. Speaking of new people, when we were at K Days, we ran into my girls Cookham, which is grandmother in Cree, and I hadn't seen Joy or Brenda Joy Sinclair in a very, very long time, and we ran into each other, and it was absolutely fabulous. So a huge shout out to Brenda Joy, and she's going to be coming on our show in 3 weeks' time. Right? Is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? No, 3 weeks, because next week we're not here. So 3
yeah,
weeks time.
towards the end of August, somewhere around
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. I look forward to that.
Okay, and a special treat as well, since it's our last show all in the same confines here with Carrie, at least for now. Later on, you've seen Carrie over the last few years, live shows, recorded videos, but you've never seen Carrie from the past. That's right. We're going back to the
Oh,
past,
no.
and a little bit later on, we're going to see the only video of Carrie from the early 2000s that is out there on the internet. And we've covered up the face. We're going to leave a little bit surprised. You can see, what was this, 2006?
2000, either 3 or 7. I did a lot of work in Ottawa in one of those years. I think it might have been 2003. Yeah.
Okay. So early 2000s, we're going to watch a little 12-minute clip of an interview that Carrie did with a Canadian, major Canadian kind of network. And you'll get to hear a little bit about what her passions were, what she spent hours and hours and hours working on back in the early 2000s. So that is coming up a little bit later.
Yeah, years. Yeah. Oh, they wiped me clean. You cannot find any of my interviews. This is the sole surviving interview, and I literally did thousands, probably even tens of thousands, without lying, because it was print, it was video, and also radio. I was on the Dave Rutherford show almost weekly for a very long time, and nothing is out there anymore except this one.
Scrubbed like Mr. Clean. It is sparkling. You can't find Carrie much on the internet, but yeah, there were a lot of videos and interviews done. Okay, last thing before we bring our guest, again, I do want to remind you that if you like our music that Carrie has written, I have composed, go check out our Mystic Compass soundtrack on iTunes, on Apple, on Amazon, on YouTube Music. It's in many places. Just type in the Mystic Compass in your favorite music listening spot, and it should come up. And again, we've been featured on the radio here in Alberta, Canada. They've played one of the songs, If Ever I Fall.
Yeah, they spelled it wrong. They put If I Ever Fall. It's actually If Ever I Fall. But that's all right. They played it. Woohoo. Pretty exciting.
So go check it out. And again, we mentioned this on Tuesday, but because we are going on hiatus for a little bit, I do want to remind people, because you may not have seen the Tuesday show, because Carrie and I have such a deep passion, connection, spiritual connection, and family connection in the past to music, we are offering up a music course. Yes, write, produce your own songs. It's going to be a Saturday in late August, August the 30th. We're going to take you through all the different stages, and Carrie's going to guide you through how to write your lyrics, give you a template, maybe talk a little bit about what they can expect with part 1.
Well, you don't have to be a songwriter to take this course. If you have any interest, if you want to write a happy birthday song for a loved one, if you want to surprise, we've seen them on YouTube and on Facebook, where people surprise, their loved one and they're playing a song for them on the radio. Well, this is it basically. But instead of hiring another company, and it's kind of it's a generic song that they put the name in. This is a song that you can write yourself for your loved ones, for yourself. I actually wrote one. It's great therapy. I wrote one for, a hurting song for when I was scorned many years ago. And it's actually a great, great song. So it puts a whole new spin on what was a painful situation. Now it's like, woohoo. So this is what you can do. And I teach you right from the very beginning, right from the very basics, the sentence structure, the structure of a song, right? How you set up the verses, the chorus, and the bridges, everything. And by the end, my goal for you is by the end of the course, which is 1 day, you will have your song written, like composed, and be able to put it into the program with Glenn and create several different versions of your song.
Right. So we'll spend the first hour and a half writing song, giving you some time to write song, going through some different templates. And then we got a 2-hour section where I'm going to go through the program that Carrie and I use to create our music, how you can tweak things a little, not an advanced course because there's so many things you can do. But as Carrie said, you will be able to do this, guaranteed. Her husband was able to put something together, and he's not very tech literate, apparently.
Not at all.
If you're not tech literate, trust me, you will. An 8-year-old could put this together. So hope you can join us. I'll teach you how to use the program, how to select different genres of music, how to create MP3 or WAV files, all the different tools that you're going to need. And then, as Carrie said, we're going to take your lyrics that you wrote in part 1 to create music for you. And hopefully you are going to be able to promote it. And that'll be part 3. Carrie, what are we do in this last part on August 30th?
Well, I'll actually show you the emails that I sent out. And within 2 days, we had response back, and they picked 3 of the 7 songs submitted to put into their playlist. So we are, we were celebrating, my goodness, within just a couple of hours. So if not even if, when you create your music and you choose the melody, for instance, the one song that we created was a Celtic song. So I searched out Celtic, radio stations, and sure enough, there was one that picked up our music like that. So, we will teach you, what to send out, how to send out your letters. I'm actually going to give you the template. I'm going to give you my emails that I sent out and show you how you can get your music, hopefully, into the radio stations.
And even if you don't want it on radio, you just want it for fun, for grandma or for
right.
your spouse, we'll show you how to professionally present it, put it on iTunes, put it on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube, how to do all that. It's a very easy process. And you can also monetize it. You can sell your music. So if you write something that you want to promote and sell, we'll show you how to do that as well. So again, hope you can join us. Only 8 participants because of the program that I use. It can only hold so many people. So hope you can join us. We've had 1 or 2 people sign up already. And we hope to see you on August 30th. And finally, I've never really pushed my other songs, but today I'm going to talk a little bit, just very quickly, just to kind of give you an idea.
Aww.
We got the Mystic Compass, but on Mother's Day this year, back in May, and my mom is in her 80s, I thought, you know what? I want to create an album for her, memories throughout her life, places that she's worked, people that she's been friends with, kind of a fun album for her. So I created Grandma's Greatest Hits. And a couple of my favorites are Grandma Has Bingo Fever. You might like that one. And Grandma Got Locked in Goodwill. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Carrie might be singing that to herself in the future. So,
I was going to say, that's my song. Yeah.
So again, just a fun way to treat someone, to give them a gift that, a very special gift, and it's a personalized gift. You can include their name in the songs. You don't have to include them, but I created that one. And the other one I created, I'm a big fan of parody music. Weird Al, if you've heard of him, I grew up listening to a lot of him. So my very first album back in April, I guess it was Parodies, a Canadian kind of album about parodies. And a couple of songs on there are Ode to Costco and I Don't Want to Go to Starbucks. And kind of parody names there, right? So
Oh, you
like
got
I
to
said,
check
it
those
doesn't
out.
have to be radio music that is, Nashville style. It could be, but
Yeah.
it can just be fun music that you create for yourself or for your friends or for your family. Both of these are on all those platforms that the Mystic Compass is on. So if you want to listen to some of those samples, just type in some of these song names here on iTunes or whatever, and it should take you to the album. So like I
I'll
said, I
tell you.
hope you can join us.
Yeah, I tell you, you went back and spoke about my husband creating a song for me. It was for my birthday, June 22nd, just recently. And he spent about a week writing the song and preparing it. And it did take a while because he didn't have us teaching him. He had to learn through it all by himself. And he struggled, but my God, when it was done, he actually put it to images and created this beautiful song for me, and I bawled. Oh my gosh, it was the nicest gift I think I have ever been given in my life. It was so beautiful, this love song, and with a collage of images. Just imagine what you can do as well for your loved one, and you'll have us being able to help you.
So again, if you have any questions about the course or want to reach out to myself, you can contact admin@carriekohan.com. Tammy will get those emails and she'll pass them along to me. So again, August 30th, it's a Saturday. It goes from about 9:30 to about 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we will make the videos available after the fact as well. So if you can't make all of it, or if you want to go rewatch part of it because you might need to, how did they do that again, and rewatch it, we'll make those videos available for those people that have signed up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Next. Valerie is saying it's like writing poetry in a way. And that's exactly it. If you can write a book, if you can write poetry, you can write your music. And we'll teach you how. There we go.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, one of our newer segments that we've been doing for about a month now is Hello, My Name Is, where we either bring on community guests like Hammer Bammers, she was our very first guest. We brought on Daniel Jackson. If you missed that episode, you got to, even my mom said, Glenn, that was a good episode. So check that one out. And today we had Anita Jensen as a guest. Today is our fourth guest, Erikka Rainey. And hello. My name is Erikka Rainey. There she is there. Just like Carrie, she's got a Mac laptop.
Yay, wow. Erikka.
All the wonderful people. Before we bring her on, I do just want to bring her, show her little trailer from her YouTube channel and kind of give you a quick idea of what she's all about. So let me find it here. Here it is. So let's watch this together.
I'm crazy, but I don't believe we ever die. I've always had a fascination with death. I never understood why people were so scared of it. Because in the Bible it says to be absent from the body is to be present with God. So I started on this search on what it means to be absent from the body. What happens when we're not here anymore? Where do we go? And if we do go somewhere, why are we here? So join me as we explore life-changing stories about near-death experiences, outer-body experiences, divine dreams and meditations, and encounters with other beings. And maybe you'll start to look at life differently too, or what I like to call a vision rebirth. Let's go.
So there you go, a vision rebirth. You can find it on YouTube. Let me just throw that link in there because any support that you guys can give to Erikka would be wonderful. Let me throw it in the chat here. There we go. And as we always do with this segment, we have a little intro music. So, hello, my name is.
Hello, my name is. My name is. Hello, my name is. Welcome to the Mystic Compass Show. Let's learn a little bit about you. It's time for Hello, my name is.
Erikka.
Hello,
Welcome,
my
Erikka.
name is. Well,
Wow.
your name is Erikka Rainey.
Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Oh,
Are you
that was-
bringing the good vibes with you today?
Listen, I'm a sure try. I think I am. I woke up this morning and just in the greatest of moods and cleaned and just just enjoying everything. Like I feel really honored to even be here.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're so excited to have you here, Erikka. My goodness. I had the pleasure of being interviewed by you not long ago. And
Yeah.
your show is so amazing. I thought, oh, we've got to have you on, and we're going to promote your show for you and discuss. We talked a little bit afterwards. Remember that?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Yeah.
We
And
did.
we talked about coming out of the spiritual closet and all that sort of stuff. And I'll put you on the spot a little bit because I was saying, girl, you've got some gifts too, right? Your
Yeah.
intuition is really strong.
Yeah, I gotta tap in. I tease my friends, and I'm just like, I'm gonna tap into my powers one day. And like I know it's like my spiritual gifts and powers. Like I know I have them. I just have to like really like tap into it and in the knowing and everything, which I think is happening in being able to talk to people like you and just be in community with people that are sort of like in that same vibration, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have a lot of people that have come through your podcast, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just started it in April. I've released weekly since. So this was the 14th episode that just released, 14th or 15th that just released. And so I'm just weekly, I'm knocking them out. And your episode is actually going to air in 2 weeks. So I'm just I'm just knocking. When I looked at my backlog, I have like 8 interviews, like just waiting. So I'm just going list by list. So yeah.
Good for you. Wow. And so what got you into all of this? Because you have a real strong interest in near-death experiences, afterlife. What got you going on this?
Yeah, I think it just came to me. Like I always want to do something creative. And I actually had a podcast called Vision Matters. In that podcast, I was interviewing more so like entrepreneurs and creative people just about their process and how, having a vision, like what their vision was and just how they built their businesses and everything. And after a while, I kind of got like uninspired with that, and so I stopped doing it and, just did something else for a little bit. And then it just like earlier this year, it was just like, I need to be doing something like, cause I was working and I usually like to have like some sort of creative thing that I'm doing beyond work that's sort of something else. And that's when the idea of Vision Rebirth came. Like I just started some writing and, I was like, I had this Vision Matters and I'm looking at all of this spiritual stuff. Cause I ended up, and I don't know how I ended up in the YouTube algorithm of near-death experiences. I honestly don't know how, but I started watching one video about it and then a bunch of videos just started just coming and I just started thinking about it and looking at it. And at first I had just started a newsletter, just sort of writing, just about spirituality. And, I was doing a lot of meditation and just trying to like discover like, hey, like, what do I need to be doing right now? And then I was like, you're actually right now having like a rebirth of like everything that you previously had thought. And you came from, okay, we know vision matters, we got it. But now you're seeing differently. You're in the process of looking at things differently. And that's when the idea of Vision Rebirth came. And then, looking at the podcast or the interviews of people, I was just like, noticed that no one was like talking to them and just like, like
Having a
having that
conversation.
conversation. Yeah, no one was having a conversation about it with them. And so that's when I was like, man, that's like a niche that I can do. Like I can actually bring them on and have these conversations and ask these questions. And I think from my perspective, because I'm still pretty regular. Like yesterday, I was at the bar with friends and stuff. Like
you too, right?
Yeah, like I'm still pretty regular. Like I'm not one of those people that's.
Were you dancing on tables like Carrie does?
Oh man, not this time, not this time. But I have.
Yeah.
Been.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So I'm pretty regular, and I think I come from that perspective of just asking those type of questions because people initially when they're a lot of people are afraid, and a lot of people they're just like, well, how it's real, and just like, and so I like to sort of ask like those type of questions on the platform to sort of relate to the regular person that may not be into like all the like mumbo jumbo with spirituality and all of that
woo-woo stuff.
So,
yeah.
So that's when Vision Rebirth just came, and I just like made like a pact with myself. Like around March, April, like a friend was like, "Hey, like when you gonna do the podcast?" Because I had just been talking about it. When you gonna do the podcast? Like, what's going on? And I was like, you know what? Easter Sunday, I'm gonna launch it, and I've been going ever since. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's really inspirational to a lot of people out there. I just ran into my friend. I was saying, my girls cook them, and Brenda Joy, and she was like, I've been wanting to do a podcast for so long, and I think that I'm actually going to do it. And so we were like, well, let's make that happen for you, right? And so she'll be coming on. Yeah, but it's so inspiring to hear your story because, I think there's a lot of people that are thinking, oh, I really want to do this, but they're not quite making it happen. So what were the steps that you took to make it actually happen?
Well, the first thing was I rebranded my YouTube because it was Vision Matters, and I rebranded my Instagram. I just rebranded everything to Vision Rebirth. That was sort of like my first step in doing everything. I have a background in marketing as well, so all of
that
this
helps.
Yeah. So and I mean, even like the logo and everything, it's just like I don't know where it came from, but I had asked, but I asked, like I literally asked, like, what should this look like? What do I need to do? And I just rebranded, and I know this sounds so simple again because I'm in marketing. I just rebranded certain pages, my IG, and YouTube. Started a TikTok. Then I looked at everybody that had the near-death experiences on YouTube and that were just talking, and I found their emails. Again, I'm in marketing, so I know the places to go to be like, okay, this is their email, and I know how to get in contact with people. Made that list. I have like a whole process. I have templates when I pitch guests. So I just go through my template. I do my pitch, my sort of I call it pitch binge. So one day I just collect all the emails. The next day I just email everybody one by one. And I got my first guest. And I knew about the platform Zencastr because I was podcasting before. So I just rebranded that. And
and here you are.
I have a background in journalism, so I know how to sort of produce and what questions to ask and everything like that. It's kind of weird being on this side of things, to be honest with you.
Isn't that the truth, right?
Yeah, because I'm used to asking the questions and doing the producing. So then I just, everything's a process.
Just took off. Yeah, it just took off from there. And I also liked in your intro, you said the quote, absence. What was it now? Absent from the body and present with God.
To be present with God. Yeah.
When you're absent from the body, you're present with God. And I don't know if you've read my book yet, or you did, didn't you?
Yeah. The 5 lessons.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. As soon as you step out, you're in the presence of God, right?
Yeah.
You are in that light energy. Yeah. And I just thought that was so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a verse from the Bible.
Isn't
I come from a Baptist Christian background, and like that's how I grew up. And so like that was all of that is in me. And that's something I'm just like really seeing now, that like
Mhm.
it's really in me. Like, I was raised, in the church in that way, in spirituality in that way,
Mhm.
that I had spiritual experiences when I was a kid, apparently, but I don't remember it. But my parents, like, they tell me how I would like say like weird stuff to them or whatever. And
Like
then,
what? Like what?
like, so in this one story, my aunt, she tells me I was at her house. Now my nana, her mom had passed, and mind you, I was like 3 years old.
Mm.
And I would go up to my aunt. I call her Buddy. I would be like, "Hey, Buddy, Nana wants to know, like, why are you scared of her? She's over there. Why won't you talk to her?" And my
A
aunt was like,
three-year-old.
"Yeah, yeah." And my aunt was like, "What?" Like, she just was like, whatever, Erica." Like,
Yeah.
okay, like, and then she said, I said to her, to be absent from the body is to be present with God.
Yeah.
And she told me that, she had a very, very big fear of death.
Mm.
And no one knew that about her, of course.
Right.
And she said that for me to be saying that to her was kind of jarring, because it was like, why is she talking to me like this? And then she said, I just started preaching. Like, she
Mhm.
said, I just started preaching. And then she went, and this was back when you could like kind of record on the radio, like, you remember. And
Yep.
so she went to her radio and hit record on the taping and everything, and just let me go and ain't say nothing or whatever. And then she
Wow.
said, after a while, I just went back and just started playing like nothing was going on. And
So
then
you went from preaching to "Where's my toy?"
yeah, apparently. And then she said,
Wow.
when she went to the radio to press play, there was nothing on the tape.
Nothing there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's common. Yeah.
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 So whatever the message was, it was for her.
Yep.
And
No one else.
I don't remember this though. Like, I have no recollection of any of this. Like, I was
Yeah.
3 years old. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it comes. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes even more though, because your interest is really strong there, and I wouldn't be surprised if things start happening for you. Yeah.
I'm baby stepping it. I'm baby stepping
Yeah.
it. Like, I had like a conversation, I guess, with my spirit guides, and like we communicate. My number is 251, and so
Mhm.
when I talk to them and ask them things, I say, okay, let me see 251 with three
Yeah.
times within the next 24 hours, and that's how. So I'm
Yeah.
baby stepping it. I don't think I'm ready for like a being to like appear in my living
Yeah.
room at this
Yeah.
point, but.
Oh, when they do it, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'm still a
Yeah.
little bit like,
Yeah. Okay, Glenn, it's your turn.
Oh, who?
Hey, Glenn, you're here. Sorry about
Hello.
that.
Well, just absorbing a lot of what you have said, Erica. And it's funny you said that. It's funny being on the other end of it. I've been doing a few variety of podcasts for 2 or 3 years now, and never been on that other side of it. So I can imagine what it feels like. I guess one of the reasons I was excited to have you on is because you are you've been doing this for a few months, but you're still relatively new at this, right? Doing these
Yeah.
podcasts on a bigger level. And a lot of our community, they have goals and wishes and dreams, and some of them want to do something similar to this. They want to get out there and spread their message.
Mhm.
As you've been doing this now for almost a year, Erica, what would you say are some of the hurdles that maybe you didn't expect? And maybe some of the pleasant things that, wow, I can't believe that came together really well. Can you kind of go through those pros and cons?
Yeah, I would say some hurdles, and mind you, like I said, it's a little different for me because my background is in sort of media marketing and all of that. So
Mhm.
for people that their background isn't that, I would say the tech probably is going to be like the biggest hurdle, like getting on a platform and figuring out the platform you're going to use, and how to use it and everything like that is probably the biggest hurdle. But once you figure that part out, it's really just a matter of setting up a process for yourself. so you can be consistent. And whatever consistency means for you, whether that's once a week, once a month, whatever, like just have a consistent time so people can get used to like hearing from you and hearing your voice, and so you can get used to using your voice. You know what I mean? As far as the pleasant part about it, man, I mean, just kind of for me, it's seeing something that was in my mind and seeing it like in real life and seeing it come through, you know, like, wow, like I thought of this, like this was literally a thought in January, you know, like I wouldn't have, I didn't see, I wouldn't have known, like, it's just weird because it's like, I thought of this and now here we are. So you just kind of got to step into it and believe in it and know and just do, and it'll start coming together. Like I have guests, like I didn't do a interview binge, an interview pitch binge in like a couple of weeks, but like it's like people are like, you know, coming, like using my link now and booking the interview. Like I'm like, man, like I have to like now like block my calendar certain days because like I'm like, oh, I was supposed to do that this day, but I never deny an interview at this point. Like I'm like, if I have an interview, the interview comes first for me. So
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And it's funny because, you know, you were thinking about it and then it came to fruition.
Yeah.
You know, and for you it was maybe a couple months. For Carrie, it was like one day.
Wow.
Day.
Yeah.
The day before, she was like, I want to do a
fast.
podcast.
No,
and then we meet up with her.
35 years in the making. Come on now. It's not one day. This is a long
I just
time.
thought you were a quicker manifester.
No,
Erikka,
no.
another question I have for you is, again, you've got over 200, I think 60 videos on your YouTube, this channel so far, and it's only going to get bigger and better. What have you, how have you spiritually grown? Is there a certain interview, a certain question, a certain answer from any of your guests over the last 9 months that really kind of inspired you even more?
Yeah, honestly, it's the sort of pre-birth planning. When I learned that, and I talked to various guests and they say that, you know, we chose this, like we chose our struggles. We chose, you know, these bodies, our families, our friends, like that has just completely changed my perspective of everything that happens in life now, because I'm like, you know, I chose you to be my mom back on the other side, and I chose you to be my friend, like back on the other side. And that thought is just so beautiful, because I'm just like, man, like we're in this together. Like, you know, even people that you quote unquote don't like, it's like we chose to have this sort of relationship to learn something from each other. And it's just like, I just look at everything as so like beautiful now. Like my life view and energy has like really, really changed. And I was in a bad place at a certain point. Like, in fact, probably like in January, and like I was out, you know, last year, I wasn't in the best place mentally. And that's probably why, like, I, you know, one of the reasons I was like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
So it has completely changed like the way I view life. I'm always like, yesterday I was with my friends and I was just like, man, I love you. Like, I love you. I love y'all. Like, for real. You know what I mean? And I was just like, because how can I love myself and not love y'all? You know, like really, like, and that was something that I didn't say a lot. Like, I didn't say I love you all the time. And because I thought it was just like this complicated word and it meant so much, and I didn't want to, you know, serious things out. So I didn't really say I love you that much. Now I say I love you all the time. Like I say it all the time to everybody. So yeah, that's how it's changed. Like I love everything.
Well, I love that. It feels like you had steps along the way, and I think everyone here can relate to this. That, you know, you go into broadcast journalism and you go into marketing and you do this and you do that, not knowing where it's actually going to lead you in the end. But it's an interest. It's something that you perfect for a while, and then you move on. And a lot of us will beat ourselves up, going, "God, I can't keep a job. I keep choosing different careers. I keep doing something different." But when you look at it, like in your case, you know, all of the tools that you gathered got you to where you are today.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I wanted to be a A&R. Like I
Mm.
grew up and I wanted to be in the music business. You know, I know he's like in a bad state right now, but Puff Daddy, like that was one of like my biggest like inspirations to be
He
in the
was
music
huge.
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was my original thing. And
Mhm.
I actually did it. I went to New York and I was in the music business. I was working with writers and producers and everything,
Wow.
but I was miserable.
Yeah.
Like when I like I was so miserable.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, I didn't, but I manifested it though. I
Yeah.
manifested everything, like down to like how much I made a year. Like, cause I looked at my journal when I was like 17, I wrote like in 5 years, I want
Mhm.
this, that, I want this car, I want an apartment. I said, I want to make $30,000 a year. That's
Yeah.
what I said.
When you
And
were 17. Yeah.
yes,
Wow.
yes. And that's exactly what I was making about time.
Wow.
Exactly. But yeah, so I was in the music business. And the funny thing is, when I entered at RCA Records,
Mhm.
and they asked me, they said, you know, A&R isn't really like, it's not, you're not really going to get a job or do anything with it. Like we recommend that you go into the marketing department. But me, hard-headed and you
Yep.
know, like
Yep.
I want to be an A&R. I was like, I want to be in the A&R department. So that's the
Yep.
road I choose. But marketing has always sort of been in my back pocket, because when I started working with different music companies and they needed social media help, I just did it. But I did it because at that time, you know, that's how we communicated. So I knew how to use them very well. All the platforms, Instagram, Facebook. And so
Yeah.
that's how I really got into marketing, because I was like, oh, like I should be getting paid for marketing. And so that's how that happened. It just, and
Wow.
then since
And
then,
that's the whole thing, right? It just leads
yeah.
into each other, and now here you are. Now, A&R, for everyone to know, is that like audio recordings, or what is A&R?
It stands for artist and repertoire.
Ah,
And it used to be the person that discovered the artist and developed the artist and stuff like that. They don't
wow.
have it too much now, as you guys know, because you know the internet. People just want to look at the data, and you know, and
Exactly.
honestly, that's what I saw back then too. Like I kind of got a little jaded from it, because I saw that it was just all about money, and they
Yeah.
all was just like, make me something that sounds like this person, and they would look at the charts, make me something that sounds like this person, and they all just copy each other
Wow.
instead of being creative, which I wanted to be creative and create the
Yeah.
song and create the vibe of it, which I think I'm gonna go back into the music business when it could just really be about music and not
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, you should come and take our course with us, because
I
it's
saw that.
extraordinary. I tell you, you should hear the songs we've created. Original, creative. Oh my gosh, off the charts.
Yeah, I
It's so
saw
much
that.
fun. Yeah. Yeah, you'd
Yeah,
be great at it.
I write music.
Yeah.
I know how to read music, and I used
Yeah.
to want to be a singer and all of that. Like music is in me. Like I love
Yeah.
music.
Absolutely. So, and let's go back to the spiritual aspect as well, because a lot of your guests, they were spiritually based, and
Mhm.
along the same lines as what Glenn was asking, what really hit you with the rest of the interviews that you've done? What is there one that really stood out for you, and that you had a wow moment?
Probably my episode. I think it like I forgot his name. Let me see. It's like my second episode
Yeah.
with Jeff Cleckley. Jeff
Don't
Cleckley,
know.
his episode is definitely one of my favorites. He talks about how in his experience, you know, he when he came back, he had like, you know, his spiritual powers and everything like that. And
Yeah.
his nephew had gotten into a accident or something and ended up in a coma. And so the family members knew of his, like, you know, special spiritual powers that he had. And they asked him, hey, like, can you please help? Like, what, like, do something. And so, you know, he did his, you know, meditations or whatever. And he ended up in the spiritual realm. And he was in this playground. And there
Mhm.
was a bunch of kids like running around the playground. And he was like, it had to be like where kids in comas go. And he said Jesus was actually there too, tending to the children and everything like that. and he saw his nephew there. And his nephew was just on the swing, like just like having a good time. And
Wow.
yeah, and he had to talk to his nephew because his nephew wasn't trying to come back. Like,
He was
he
happy
wasn't,
on that swing.
yeah, like his nephew wasn't trying to come back, but he
Yeah.
was like, you know, he had to tell his nephew because everything he was getting downloads from spirit about everything his nephew was going to do and why his nephew needed to be here and stuff like that. And so eventually, like, he convinced his nephew to come back. And his nephew was like, you know, while he was there, he was like, man, but I just want to stay here just for a couple seconds longer. Like,
Yeah.
and he was just like, this is great. But
Yeah.
his nephew ended up making it back and waking up.
Yeah.
And now his nephew was like a firefighter or something. So,
Oh, wow. And did his
yeah.
nephew have any memories from the other side at all?
Yeah. Because Jeff told like his family members what happened, and he told his family members like, don't say anything about it or whatever. But when his nephew woke up, his nephew ended up telling his dad, which is his brother, and the dad was like, yeah, like word for word, everything you said happened. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Troops. Love it.
yeah.
Yeah. Any other great stories? What's another story that stood out for you? That
Another one. Oh man, there's so many. Let me see. Of course. Okay, yeah. Chris's was really interesting because Chris actually self-transitioned. He was going through a lot of like mental turmoil. He came from a like really, really rough upbringing and, you know, bad experience. I mean, a bad relationship with his mother. And he was like, you know, he threw himself out of his friend's car. And
oh my gosh.
yeah, and like hit his head. But you know, of course, you know that you're out of your body before you feel that pain.
You don't feel it. No.
Yeah. And so he was floating above his body with his spirit guides, with his angels or his guardian angels as he come to know them. And, you know, they were basically like, hey, like, do you want to go back? Like, what do you want to do? Like, and
Having
he ended up, and he ended up coming back and, you know, actually had like an experience with his mom that changed their relationship. And, you know, when she ended up passing and he ended up seeing like the reason for like their tumultuous relationship. And so he was able to have love for her in that way. And I guess another episode that I'm just reminded of just because you were scrolling was the first episode that I talked to somebody that went to hell. His episode was like interesting because that was the first time, you know, it was like sort of the opposite interaction. So he's actually a YouTube star himself. Like he does like prank videos and stuff like that. And he was basically saying he was rich and he had all this money and, you know, outwardly successful, but he was like treating his like wife bad. And he himself just felt bad, just, you know, internally. And, you know, one day he had took an edible, like a drug edible. And he was like, that's when it happened. And he like was out of his body. And like at first when he was just like in his living room, like he was just like looking around and seeing like everything, and everything looked so you know, as you know, in the spiritual realm, everything is just like apparently like 4 times like HD. Like, you know what I mean?
Blinding.
Yeah. And so you know, he went down. Like he just said he went down and he was just falling and falling. He was just like, it was just ultimate darkness, and like demons were like laughing at him and teasing him, and it just wouldn't stop. But the thing is, it's because that's where he thought he deserved.
Exactly.
And as soon as he said the name of Jesus, he was back in his body. And it's like hell is created. You create your own hell. And, you know, he was there because like he felt like he didn't deserve God. And he felt like, you know, just really bad. And I kind of look at that frequency scale, like people that hold a lot of guilt and shame, and I think that's what he was holding, a lot of guilt. He was cheating on his wife, and probably using his riches like as a mechanism to represent him when that it doesn't. And but yeah, his story was interesting, because it's like we create our own hells. Like hell is only as real as you make it, and as soon as you want to go to the light and ask for light, that's where you go.
And conversely, we create our own heaven, don't we?
We do. Right? We do. Absolutely. It's our thoughts. That's the thing too. Like, and that's what I kind of I need to get control of over here, because in the spiritual realm, your thoughts, it instantly, whatever you thinking, it's like instantly happens. Yes. And that's one of the things that I learned as well. Like over there, you gotta have your thoughts right, because very much create craziness with it if you don't.
Well, that's a wonderful way to wrap up our conversation.
I got a couple more questions here, Carrie, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah.
And it is kind of wrapping up, but Erikka, again, you've been an inspiration. I think you're going to be an inspiration for a lot of people that, again, want to take that step to do what you're doing. But let's look forward now. What area of growth do you feel you really need to work on? Where do you want to get to? Where do you want to be in the next few years? What kind of things do you want to be doing?
Yeah. The area of growth, I need to go from believing to knowing.
Good answer. Wow.
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas of where I see Vision Rebirth. Like, and I honestly was just thinking about this, for the past couple of days, that church as we know it needs to be restructured. Of course, I grew up in the Baptist church and everything like that, and my dad still goes, and so I'm with my dad and I go and everything, and I just like he goes, because his friends and stuff are there, and you know what I mean. And the pastor asked me like, hey, what can we do to get the youth in church? And I'm like, honestly, if my friends were all here, I would come more, but into getting people there, it has to be restructured, because we still need the pillar of church, but maybe we have to reframe how we are sort of preaching to people, because I know I can't even sit through a sermon now. Like it's so hard for me to like just sit and just have somebody talk to me. Like I'm just like, so I kind of have this idea where churches are restructured into more of wellness centers, right? Yes. And where we concentrate on your mind, body, and spirit. I want to have all the ancient texts available. I want to, talk about Buddha. I want to talk about Allah. I want to talk about Jesus. And maybe we have classes on that. And then maybe have like yoga classes, meditation classes, law of attraction classes. And you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I see things. And it still be a pillar of the community, because it brings people together. Churches are one of the places that give back to like the homeless and feed the home. And we still have it there, and it's a community, but it's just structured a little bit differently, and not just I'm going on Sunday to like listen to the word or whatever. It's like, no, like we're coming and, maybe we go to different classes. I don't know, but I just think your mind, body, and spirit needs to be involved. And I think learning all the ancient texts need to be involved. So
and male and female ministers and priests.
Like leaders. All of it. Yeah. All of it together, and just about, maybe discovering our spiritual gifts, I don't know.
I love your vision. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I can see you creating it actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that you're here to do, I believe.
Yeah.
And I know I can tell you love your job.
Yeah.
I can tell you love. I don't even see it as a job. It's a passion. It's you're educating, you're teaching, you're helping, you're inspiring, all those kind of things. And, when you interview people, there's always, I'd really love to interview that person. I'd really like to dig into some things with this person. Now, other than Carrie Kohan, who would you like to interview out there that you think would be great on your channel?
Oh, man. Who do I have like my eyes set on to like interview? Dad, you kind of got me.
We stumped the interviewer.
Okay, so I'll say this: I have thought about it. When Puff is released, I'm hoping that he has like a changed mindset, because I feel like there's a lot of conversations that we can have about that entire situation. And at the state that he got, as high as he got, you know, I think he was dealing with a lot of darkness. And I hope that he finds the light, because I would like to interview him about his journey of being in that dark place and having all that success and it not really mean anything, and it didn't help his spirit or anything, and having him reach for that light and what that will lead to. I kind of picture myself like having that type of interview with him, because I just think that it's so much in that situation that it can be really learned. And I honestly think, you know, him going to jail is the best thing for him, for real, because and that's like a last, maybe, I don't know, last, but it's like another chance for him to redo it and be like, you know, and just do something different. So I kind of, in my head, I kind of was thinking like, you know, I hope like he really changes, because I would love to like just interview him like really on some real, honest, authentic stuff about everything that happened. Like no PR, you know.
I hope that comes. Yeah,
but you know.
Yeah, I hope that comes to fruition for you. And I hope that, you know, when you're outed to the entire world of what you've done and said and you know, things that have happened, that can be a wake-up call for a lot of people. Whether it is for him or not, well, it'll stand to see. But I have no doubt if he's going to do an interview once he's seen the light, it'll be with you. So.
Right. Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. I hope platforms like this and mine are the ones that are sort of leading the media charge, in my opinion, because media shapes the world. Marketing, media, it shapes world, it programs us. And I think, you know, if this type of content is sort of leading it, you know, that's kind of help people start changing their minds and have a vision rebirth, right? So yeah.
Well, I never actually even thought about Diddy having a rebirth. I thought, oh, he's dark, you know, he's gone through some dark stuff. But you're right, you know, the actions are dark, the soul isn't.
Yeah. Like whatever. I just think of, like I said, like we chose our struggles before we came here. You know what I mean? So I don't even look at darkness in the same way, because some people have to explore that for the collective to understand.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I don't even look at darkness as bad.
How did you get so wise for your years? I'm sitting here with a sage that should be like 120 years old. You know?
Listen, man, I told you, I just learned all of this. I learned it all from people like you and you know, coming on my show and giving your perspective.
Oh, it's brilliant, honey. I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm not even your mom, but I feel like, you know, your mom must be so proud of you. Yeah, that's awesome. Well done. Yeah,
for sure.
Well, thank you, Erikka. It's been a pleasure. Again, inspiring. And as Carrie said, you just so much potential, and we wish you all the best. Anytime you want to reach out to, you know, to Carrie, have any questions, if you have any tech questions, you can reach out to admin at Carrie Kohan and ask, and I can help you out. And please, chat, community, go give this young lady a follow here on her YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Any other places that people can follow you on?
Yeah. So on Instagram, again, it's Vision Rebirth, all one word. TikTok is Vision_Rebirth. But I mean, if you just go on TikTok and say like Vision Rebirth Podcast, I'm sure I'll pop up. And then you can find me on Instagram, _real E, really on all platforms, _real E, but Instagram is like, that's where I'm at most of the time. So yeah, like definitely, like, you know, give me a follow, give me a chat, give me a DM. Like, you know, I'm very open. Like, I don't, you know, I talk to people, so, you know, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, you're really down to earth. And Tammy has put several of your links in the chat for people, so they can actually just cut and paste them and connect with you right away. That's awesome.
Sure.
Well, Erikka, it's been such a delight yet again to meet you. And I have no doubt this will not be our last time chatting.
It definitely won't.
This is the beginning of a great relationship. So we love you very much. And
I
thank
love
you
y'all
for joining
too.
us. Yeah,
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
I
Erica.
love
Have a
you.
wonderful rest of your day and
I
a
love
wonderful
you
weekend.
too. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Take care. Bye, honey.
Wow. That was
She
that
is
was really
brilliant.
nice.
That was
Again,
like,
we usually sometimes plan for 15 or 20 minutes, and an hour later,
yeah,
it is time just goes real quick when you're having these conversations, but
yeah.
well worth the time put into it. Okay, there is one question in chat pushed towards you here, Carrie. So let's answer
Okay.
Valerie's question. I have a question regarding your book, Carrie.
Yep.
Is what you experienced part of your belief system here in this life back then? I was hearing someone talk about this yesterday.
I didn't have the belief system at the time. I was an atheist when I had my first near-death experience. When she was talking about hell and how he was falling down, 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 and he could see demons' faces and stuff. I had little black gremlins coming through the floor, and I could feel how demonic they were. And I had to call, like she was talking about that story where, the gentleman, he was falling and he called Jesus' name, and instantly he was back in his body. I didn't return back to my body, but God and Jesus came and stood by my side the minute that I called them in. So it was the start of who I am today. I always had gifts, I had poltergeists and spirits that would move objects around me since I was little. And I had, the ability of clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentience since the age of like 3 that I'm conscious of. But I didn't have the belief systems about how the soul stays with spirit, the spirit comes into your vessel, and you have the silver cord. I had no idea that you sat down with a counselor beforehand. This is common knowledge now, but in 1993, we didn't talk about stuff like this, right? It was not common knowledge. So I learned the hard way and the best way. And I think, dying was the best thing that ever happened to me, both times.
And you know what? It's a good segue to what we want to kind of end off. We got about half hour left, Carrie. So we're going to go through kind of how you got involved in, whether you want to call it spirituality, activism, trying to make the world, to make Canada a better place, kind of the beginning for Carrie. So we're going to go through that very beginning part. And over the course of the next, few episodes, months, years, Carrie will expand on the story a little bit. So it won't be the whole story today.
No.
But we wanted to give you viewers an insight into the beginning for Carrie.
Well,
and
it
it
was
all began with
1964. No, it all began. Actually, my second near-death experience was what was the beginning of it. And so I started to get guided visions. I started hearing voices, and one of them was about EMFs, and we didn't talk about those things back then at all. It was not in common knowledge, but that was the beginning for me as an advocate, because I was seeing things. I was pregnant. I was 9 or 10 months pregnant. And is that what you're talking about? There we go. There's some news articles from 1995. Yeah, I was really pregnant because Nikita was born in February 96. And so 95, we took on Rogers Cantel of Cantel Mobility back then. And there was only one case prior in Ontario, and it was a case that was brought up against Bell Mobility. Well, they settled out of court, and we found ourselves in a position. We had a huge acreage. You can see the acreage there. And our neighbor made a contract with Cantel to put a 35-story communication tower at the foot of, our driveway. It was literally, our driveway was here, the road was there, and then the tower was right on the other side of the road. If the wires had broke, they would have taken out our front door. It was that close. And so I was 9 months pregnant, and I had heard somewhere along the way, this is again 1995, and I had heard something that, cattle were having issues underneath these things. And so I thought, well, if I'm pregnant, this might not be good for our baby, right? So I started looking into it, and lo and behold, yeah, the more I looked into it, the more concerned I got. So we tried to stop, not tried, we did stop the installation of the tower for about a year and a half, and ended up taking Cantel and Industry Canada to the BC Supreme Court. And we couldn't win, we couldn't lose, because it turned out that Safety Code 6, I'm going to get a little technical here, but there is a safety code in the Canadian government. It's called Safety Code 6, and it is the governing body that all of these studies were based on, that our safety program, like what we can have as far as emissions go, and microwave energy and all of that, the electromagnetic fields, right? All of those things. It's based on this Safety Code 6. Well, I discovered that majority of those studies were fictitious, or they didn't even exist. And so these are studies that we have all of these things up in the world about, right? Especially in our country. So we went to court, and it turned out that the judge said, no, I don't have the jurisdiction to say to the government, you've got to change these safety codes. But he did say to me, you, my dear, have to go out and you have to win in the public, and you've got to get this story everywhere. So we were the first family. Here I am, pregnant as can be. My belly is out to here, and we fought. And like I said, so yeah, you can see I'm bundled up, and that's me and my first husband and our neighbor. And our neighbor was lovely. She and I, we teamed up and we fought very hard. Well, I had a phone call with Ted Rogers in the end, after the court hearing, and because the judge did reprimand Industry Canada and said, you guys got to smarten up. Their own paraphernalia, their own brochures. It said, when I was doing the research, I got one of the brochures from Rogers Cantel, and it said, the only side effect is that your body temperature will raise 1 to 2 degrees. And I still have one of those brochures somewhere in one of the countries I live in. Anyways, so I brought that to the University of Alberta, and I brought it to one of the scientists there, and he said, I can't believe that they put this in writing, because this is admitting that it's carcinogenic. Anything that raises your body temperature 1 to 2 degrees, it's toxic. It's not good. And so that's what we used in court. And so that, all of a sudden, those brochures, they disappeared very quickly. And then I get a phone call from Rogers Cantel, from Ted Rogers himself. And I said, we found another place for your tower that is not near any homes. It's still at the same elevation. Can we please transfer it? And he said, I would love to, but I cannot, because if I give in to you, that means anyone that comes in the future that gives us a hard time, that takes us to court, we will have to constantly be moving these towers, and we're not going to. And I said, well, you understand, all the evidence I found. He said, it's irrelevant to me. Can you imagine? And so we ended up losing our beautiful big estate. We had a huge, monstrous house there that we when we bought it, it was rat infested or mice infested. There are no rats in Alberta, I guess, but it was a lot of work. And once the bank realized that the tower was going in, they reevaluated our property and discovered that it wasn't worth the money that we were mortgaged for. So they called the mortgage and they put us into bankruptcy. So that forced us to move. And that move then brought us to the PDF file up in northern Dawson Creek. So it was like God was, he has a sense of humor. He knows that I am a bit of a warrioress, in that, you put something in front of me that is injustice, and especially if it's about kids and health of, humanity, I will stand up. And the biggest thing with this was they were putting these big things right beside schools. And, the studies were coming out. So I was able to, in British Columbia, I was able to get a new law passed that these things could not be within 500 meters, I believe it was 5,000 meters or 500 meters of any children's school, especially elementary. And that was a huge win. So that was my first law being changed, and being an advocate. And then it began from there, man. It kind of went a little crazy.
From there, right? Created the woman that Carrie is today. And
Yeah.
Again, we're going to go through this fairly quickly because we have a hard stop in about 25 minutes. So
Yeah, you guys gotta run.
Carrie, as she mentioned at the beginning of the show, she's done so many interviews on TV, and most of them you cannot find anymore. They have been scrubbed. They don't want that message.
I love this one though. Look at, she's crouching.
Yeah.
the reporter, she's crouching to talk to me on camera. Loved it.
So there are a lot of interviews, and there is one that does exist. And so we're going to play it for you, and you're going to get a look at the fire of Carrie Kohan back in the early 2000s. So maybe you want to set this interview up. Where was it? When was it? And what was the main message?
Okay, so this was when I was really beginning. I had just had a meeting. Okay, let's go back a little bit. For those that don't know, we had a PDF file enter our home and tried to, with my 2-year-old then, and grab her. And I saved her. He never got to her. But it was a start of, a 17-year, mission for me to change laws, to raise the age of consent, etc. So the government, I became a foremost expert on PDF files in Canada. And so the government would phone up and say, Carrie, we have a bill that is being proposed. Would you come and speak to it? And so when you see on TV and you see those hearings in Ottawa, and it's like all the justice ministers are in a square or a rectangle, and all the ministers are around this side, and then you have 4 witnesses in front of them, and they're all with the mics, and you've got the translators behind you. I was one of those 4 witnesses. So on this day, I had a full 2 days of hearings, and I believe this one was on merit, artistic merit. And Alan Borovoy, who was probably the most revered lawyer in Canada at the time, he was arguing artistic merit and for the Civil Liberties Association, and that, for the individual rights of the PDF files rather than the collective rights of the children. I was, the only one there that was not paid anything. I was a volunteer. And so I was there speaking for the children, because really they didn't have any other voices other than the police officers. I'd have the president of the police association beside me, Tony Canavino, fabulous guy. I had Sergeant Paul Gillespie on the other side, fabulous as well. He was out of the Toronto crimes units, child crimes units, and we were a team. So anyways, long story short, this is a full day of interviews. I come across a little cocky, I do say, and I think it was because I was scared shitless. I was over my head with all of these people. And remember, I was in the dummy class. I was like learning disabled, and here I am. I came from a trailer park. I was living in a trailer in Dawson Creek, BC, with my family when this all happened. And so I came from a trailer and being illiterate, and now I'm surrounded, and I'm meeting with the Prime Minister. Earlier in the day, I met with the Prime Minister, the Justice Minister, the Solicitor General. They all told me that they were lowering the age of consent to 12 with parental consent. And so this is a really good interview, I believe, because it shows the amount of research that I was doing as a volunteer for the protection of children in our country and beyond. And so they called me the Erin Brockovich of Canada. And when I look at this, I think, man, that girl's got some chutzpah. But it's a younger version of me. I was 40-something, 41 maybe, and and so
okay, well,
ignore the bravado is what I want to say, because that really is it's feeling insecure and trying to be more than what I was. So
Yes, but it does exude a lot of confidence. And the interviewer was well brushed up on the information as well. So he put Carrie to the test. Like he was definitely making her accountable for what she was saying. So here you go, Carrie. If you want me to pause it, just put your hand up at any time. And you want to address anything that is being said. This was back from the early 2000s.
And it's a last interview. Videos. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
Committee on Justice and Human Rights was hearing submissions on the very controversial Bill C-20 before the House prorogued, and the bill died on the order paper. The bill that was introduced by Justice Minister Martin Cochon just last year to amend the Criminal Code and the Canada Evidence Act regarding child pornography. The debate over the proposed changes centered around the trade-off between the right of free expression, guaranteed in the Charter of Rights, and the ability of police agencies to prosecute pederasts or sexual predators. Now, one of the groups that appeared before the committee was Project Guardian. Carrie Kohan is the founder, and she's with me in the studio. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Let me ask you a little bit about the organization first before we talk about the issue. How long has it been around? You're the founder and you're the head of this?
I'm the co-founder, actually. December 2002, we began it. It was more out of recognizing a need. There were so many organizations across Canada that were like-minded and fighting for the same cause, and we decided that it would be a great thing to bring everyone together under one umbrella. And
so that's pretty much what it is. It's an umbrella organization.
It's an umbrella organization. So we've made friends with many organizations from People for Justice and Beyond Borders and Canadian Center for Sexual Abuse and so we're coming together.
And that coincided with the introduction of this bill too, December of 2002, actually.
Yeah, I guess so. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Give me your take on this bill now. I mean, the arguments have been going back and forth over it.
Yeah.
Do you think it goes far enough, the changes they want to make?
Well, there's many aspects to this bill, actually, that we have to consider. It's not just the merit. There's, artistic merit argument. There's also age of consent issue. That was argued extensively. There were 8 witnesses that were heard yesterday, or not yesterday, but on the 7th.
Yeah.
And out of the 8, 7 of them were like-minded. We were all from the position that Canadians want the age of consent raised from 14 to 16 years of age to give a grade 7, 8, or 9-year-old child the ability to have consensual sex with someone that possibly could be in their 30s or 40s is just ridiculous, especially when you consider that we don't allow them to drink, drive, vote, or smoke. It just doesn't make sense. And in essence, it's taken the power away from the families to govern, parents to govern their own families. So
the argument that the government is making back at that one, because there's some reluctance to do that,
Absolutely.
and I know there's been pressure from the opposition for some time, but the minister himself has said, in fact, sitting at this table, has said that he believes that children between the ages of 14 and 18 are covered and protected enough by existing legislation, and that by doubling the penalty, it's more effective to do it that way than to raise the age of consent.
Perhaps on the surface it may appear that way, but when you actually put it into application, that's not the case at all. We've had a case actually in Edmonton just recently where a mother woke up, 14-year-old daughter was in bed with a 27-year-old man, and she phoned the police, and the police couldn't do anything because she was at the age of consent. They considered pressing trespassing charges against him, but the daughter had given him permission to enter the house. So it left the parent powerless. It just is not a healthy thing for a young person to be given that kind of ability, and especially when you consider the ramifications of, we're looking at STDs or pregnancies could be the fallout or the consequences of this action. So, I think it's responsible of the government to actually say, we're going to do what every other democratic society has done, and that is have the age of consent at 16. You look at Australia, United States, the list goes on. It's all 16 to 18 years. So why should our children in Canada be any less protected under the laws?
Do you know the history behind the establishment of that age? Why it is 14? Because frankly,
it goes back centuries. Actually, there was a period of time where the age of consent was 12, but we had a shorter lifespan. We had a different way of looking at culture. Right now, children are still prepubescent at 14, and that is our concern, is that this could open a legal argument for legalize childlike pornography, because you have a 14-year-old that has a body of a 9-year-old and has consensual sex, records it, images are made of it. That pornographer could put it on the net and say this is legal because she or he was of age, of sexual consent. So to raise it to 16, statistically under the 5 stages of puberty, if you look at the scale, it actually shows that at the age of 16, majority of children are actually entering in or nearing the end of maturation of puberty. So it's our responsibility, I think, to actually do what's right and bring it up to 16.
I'd like to talk to you for a couple of minutes about the issue of child pornography and the prevalence of the activities of people who use child pornography now.
Okay, it's an epidemic. Well, it's absolutely a silent epidemic.
And police agencies are indicating that it is growing virtually exponentially.
It is. Well, you've hit on about 4 topics that I can speak here.
Sure.
Exponentially, statistically, we have to go to the United States or Australia for statistics because we have virtually none in Canada. We have put no dollars into finding out, where we're at in Canada with this epidemic. In the United States, it's estimated that this affects 1 in 4 children. That Foreign magazine, actually, it said that there are estimated 30 million survivors of child sexual abuse in the United States alone. So this is an epidemic. What was the other part?
Well, I'm curious as to why it has reached that level. One of the things that I think anybody who's paying attention in the culture may have noticed over the last decade or so is that in mainstream advertising, the apparent, and I say apparent because it's not always the case, the apparent age of models, particularly female models, has dropped. They look like children. Yes, they look like children, and often they aren't children. They're just made to look like children.
Yeah.
So there seems to be something in the culture that is, I wouldn't say encouraging, that's too strong a word, but there's something out there suggesting that the sexualizing of children is not a bad thing.
There's been a huge argument made for transgenerational sex. The APA, the American Psychiatric Association, has actually argued to decriminalize pedophilia. So we're seeing steps made forward to actually have this argued as a sexual preference. As far as the internet goes, part of the argument that I made to the committee was the Interpol Police Services they had their annual convention, and they heard from Interpol Police Officer Hamish McCulloch. He was stating that internet pedophiles are increasingly craving images and hardcore images of child pornography. Where we're heading with this is already we're seeing the likes of pay-per-view child rape online, where you or a pedophile would be able to go on the internet and log in at, say, 8 o'clock, and they would have a live child online, and you would be able to go in and say,
I think we'll keep it there, just because a lot of words are coming through.
I get a
lot of words in a row that are coming through, and we want to continue to be able to broadcast on YouTube and Facebook. So I think the message is clear. And again, just for you guys that are watching, saying, well, there's a lot of words. How come that hasn't been taken down? Well, this is a CPAC. This is CPAC, which I don't know if it's government funded, but they cover a lot of government news. It's right on their website. This is not something that is on the dark web or something like that. This is right on the CPAC website, and that's the only video really of Carrie, an interview where she really speaks about what has been going on. So any kind of wrap up you want to that, Carrie? Anything else you want to mention?
Well, we were calling it out. 2003, we were saying that, they were looking at legalizing this. And I think it's interesting because my organization at the time was MAP, MMAP, Mad Mothers Against PDF Files. And now their organization is called MAP, and it's minor, what is it now? Minor attracted persons or something like that. And I have to look at it and go, wow, I was even talking about the APA there, where they were moving forward. This is a government agency that was trying to legalize, and here we are 23 years later, and that's where we're at. So if you have had any inkling to say enough is enough, then please do. And also visualize all of this coming to an end, because I think we've come a long way, baby. All the laws, I look like such a young woman there, don't I?
Oh, you still look like a
Oh
young
my
woman.
God. Yeah, I was.
Carrie,
40.
where does it stand now? Like, what is the age of consent? Has there been back and forth? Is it an issue now?
Yeah, I don't even know, to tell you the truth. I know that we got it to 16. We were successful in that. We were trying for 18 because majority of Canadians wanted it at 18, but we had to settle at 16. And we stopped the Liberals from going to age 12. That was a huge push. So I ended up on Canada AM and all of those, those shows of the early 2000s, and I brought it out to the masses and put so much pressure on the government. There's some really neat stories along the way. Ralph Klein, that's another story I'll share another time, but we've had some real warriors in our government that were unsung heroes, I believe, that helped along the way and did some really good stuff. So
yeah, mentioning you got the same voice though, Carrie.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
You got the same voice. You could tell, if you didn't see the image, you could tell that was Carrie Kohan. And just one more image to show, because you've received a lot of awards, and we'll talk about other ones on a future date. But who is the young lady? Who are the two young ladies in this top picture right here?
Yeah, that's me and Danielle Smith. She is a premier of the province of Alberta, and she's a dynamo, man. So I actually was looking at running for the Wild Rose Party. I had just won the Woman of Distinction Award. That was 2010, I believe. And Danielle and I, we were getting the picture together. Yeah. So I looked at running for the party, but I was going through my divorce, and it was too sticky of a divorce. And then I lost custody, and I thought that would so be used against me if I was to go into politics. So I stayed away, but it was all meant to be the way it happened. So,
and I know this award meant a lot to you. What's the name of the award, and what was it for?
This is the Escoya Award. Oh my gosh. No, this isn't Women of Distinction. This is the Escoya Award. And this is in the Aboriginal community, the Indigenous Association of Women. And my gosh, what an honor that was. So you had to be nominated by someone in the community. And it was Brenda Joy. Actually, there she is right there. She's in right there. In the right side. So she nominated me for it, and I ended up winning for the Daniel what was it now? Danielle Smith, I believe. Oh my goodness. It's so many years ago. Anyways, I won the Justice Award with the Escoya Award. So it was huge. This thing was big, huge stage. They had RCMP march you out. And if you just look at the picture, it's like, are you being arrested, Carrie? Got 2 RCMP on your side, and you got your hands in front of you. But no, I was getting a beautiful award. So that was very touching, because again, I hadn't known that I was Métis for very long, maybe 10, 15 years at that point. Well, 20 years. Yeah, it was beautiful. So yeah, there it is. Coming out on the stage with the RCMP officers, and they stand on both sides.
Good evening. Thanks, everyone. Not from Edmonton, welcome. It's my extreme honor and extreme pleasure to be able to present the Justice Award to a remarkable woman, and that's an understatement. Carrie Kohan. Carrie is Métis.
So yeah, it's about a 4-minute clip. It's on YouTube right there, and there Carrie goes up to the podium. Whoa, you can see over the podium, just barely, it looks like. Unfortunately, the audio is not that great on the YouTube channel, so
you can watch it. Yeah.
You can go check it out. Just maybe Tammy. Actually, I think I can put the link in there later. So yeah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And again, Carrie brings the goods. She gives the content, and this is only a little minor fraction of the work that Carrie has done over the course of the last 25 years. Well,
and
Carrie,
it was all spirit driven and given. I literally would just listen to spirit and be guided to the next step. So it was all such a beautiful gift. Yeah.
And again, if you haven't read her book, go get the 5 Lessons of Life. That's going to fill in a lot of gaps for those of you that don't know a lot about Carrie Kohan. Go check that out. Carrie, it's been a pleasure with you, and gonna miss you so much.
We're not saying goodbye. It's only a week.
No, but I mean in the presence, presence of Carrie.
Yeah. We're not going to be living together anymore. Yeah.
We're no more Timbits to share. But you know what, folks? Stay tuned, because after the outro here, we're going to have a little bit of bonus coverage. So don't go anywhere. And we're going to send you off like we always do with one of our outros. But this one is a new one. So watch carefully. I created a new song for Carrie to send her off back to Portugal. Enjoy. Be back in a couple.
Standing here with stress.
How are you doing, Jordy? We are just getting to K-Days. Tammy, of course, taking the video here. Good to see you guys, and we're going to go on an adventure and have some mini donuts and other food. So we'll talk to you later.
Money and money, travel and more. Come ask your questions, a medium full of wisdom and lore. Carrie rolled in with a bag full of vibes, a deck of cards and those knowing eyes. She said, I see things you can't see. My wife looked at me and said, honey, let her be. The summer vacation with a sidekick, a fun adventure to explore, full of life and advice, the days and nights never a bore. Carrie's tarot cards and pinpoint intuition, seeing what lies ahead with your honey and money. She's got the summer sun and a moonlit call, with humor and insight through the medium's virtual crystal ball. We sat on the couch watching our evening show, still working on her laptop, making sure her ducks are in a row. The man in the high castle, many discussions to follow. The three of us questioned in truth, it was fun being a late night snooze. She says, life's a crooked road, but the stars will align. Trust your heart and gut, and you'll be just fine. Her voice always confident, her smile so sweet. A psychic seeing truths and leaving wisdom at our feet. Carrie's tarot cards and pinpoint intuition, seeing what lies ahead with your honey and money. She's got the summer sun and a moonlit call, with humor and insight through the medium's virtual crystal ball. She tells others Her words elegant and true, making this world a better place. Calibrating your mystic compass. Our summer with a psychic filled with love, laughter, and grace. Honey and money, travel or move, talking with lost loved ones, Carrie always in her groove.
We're just singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. That was so awesome.
Oh, so there you go, Carrie. A
Yeah, be
little
crying.
bit of send off for you. And it's been quite the journey. Absolutely quite the last couple of months. They've flown by pretty quickly. And I want to thank you, for inspiring me to keep on doing podcasts on a different kind of topic and discussion.
Yeah.
I've been doing other things, and this is my first big delve into spiritual podcasts. Tell us about your time in Canada.
Well, 2 months with you. Yeah, I got a kick out of it in the song. It was like, yeah, I had a 2-month vacation with a psychic. Oh my goodness. When I think of the conversations we've had in this house and the experiences and the beautiful beings that showed up here and and your awakening. My gosh, Glenn, we were watching, right, Tammy? We were watching you grow.
Wait.
What's that?
Oh,
Oh, okay, that's
there we go.
feedback.
There we go. There. Feedback should be gone.
Yeah, there you go.
Feedback should be gone. We don't see Tammy though, but Tammy is here as well. Of course, she is upstairs. We were trying to get her on with the video.
Yeah, she's going to run downstairs and be with you there.
Okay.
So she'll come
Okay.
on. Yeah, because you get to see Tammy. Oh my God. She does exist. Honest.
So anyway, continue on.
Yeah. So we've had a spectacular time here in Canada. And so from now on, I will be either in Portugal or the UK, and Glenn and Tammy will be here. And there she is. Yay! So this is the brains and the bronze behind all of this. The package that we have. Hey, Tammy. Can't hear you guys. No volume. No volume.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, she is the one behind the scenes doing a lot of the things, posting links and responding to your emails at admin, all that kind of stuff. And what tell us about the last 2 months with Carrie?
I don't know where to start.
Yeah, I know.
The
right?
video summed it up pretty good.
Yeah, it really did. Tammy, she is actually the inspiration of She's Heaven Sent, because man, this girl, and not that the bad part, where the guy is like, that was just creative license. But the beginning, where this woman, she gets up in the morning and feeds the kids and feeds the chickens and the dogs and the cats and the chickens and the property, and she comes in covered in dirt, and I'm like, what have you been doing? She said, well, I just put in like an acre long stretch of garden.
And it's only noon.
And it's only noon, right? Yeah. So yeah, she makes everything from scratch, like cans and medicines and herbs and you name it. This woman, you have your own website too, right, Tammy?
I do.
Yeah. And what is it? Because I don't have the ability.
Tammy'sHomeOnline.com.
Tammy's what?
Tammy's Home Online.
Tammy'sHomeOnline.com. Okay. we'll put it in to the chat once it's all finished. Okay. Yeah. And go and check out her site because you have recipes there and all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm just starting very slowly. I don't have a lot of time to make content, but yeah,
We
I'm
keep her
getting there.
busy. Yeah, we keep her really busy. But
Do.
no, it's been magical. Truly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
guys
it
are-
was it was a little difficult getting Tammy on screen. She is a little camera shy, but
Yeah.
I said, you got it. It's Carrie's last stream here in Canada.
Yeah.
You got to come on for a little bit. So,
Yeah.
Carrie, we're going to leave some parting words to you.
Okay. Aw.
No, what are your parting words here?
Oh, from me.
Yeah, from you,
Well,
not
I'm
to
not
you.
going very far. I'm going
You
a
are
long
going far.
ways. I am going far, but I'm not going far from all of our community because we'll be here in another 2 weeks. We're just missing a week in between. So I hope that, everyone, again, please please subscribe, please support us in every way you can, because that allows us to continue on and be with you here. And I want to say thank you a big shout out to both you and Tammy, because we wouldn't have this without you guys. It just fell together. It's like Erikka today, how everything that she had done built to the point that she ended up doing the podcast. That's what it felt like. Everything that you did, Glenn, everything that Tammy was doing. In fact, Tammy, you said that several times. Everything that you had been doing came together to be able to do this, and vice versa, right? So it just was in alignment, I believe. I think God has a greater plan for all of us, and we were in the flow. One last thing, when I went to the psychic at the K-Days yesterday, she said the non-dominant hand is your map, and the dominant hand is what you've actually lived it. I always understood that this was previous life and this is current life, depending what your dominant hand is, right? And so she said, my gosh, you've actually lived almost everything in your map, like everything. She said, the only thing that I see is that you had 2 marriages, and I only see 1 marriage in your map, because you could have just stayed with that 1 marriage and made it work, but you decided to go off and have the 2nd marriage instead. And I think that's sort of like with Erikka. We all have a map. We all have everything that leads up to where we're at. And it's up to us to decide, what feels best, what feels right in the gut. And to my amazement, I listen to spirit. And so my map is almost matching everything that I have been doing. I haven't been misstepping. And even though it feels at times like you do, because my God, I'm in Canada, then I'm Portugal, and then I'm over here in UK. And, it's like, oh, for God's sakes, I'd really like to have a home. But if I didn't do what I'm doing, I wouldn't have met Glenn, and I wouldn't have met Tammy, and we wouldn't have created this beautiful podcast together. Makes me choke up, because God has a greater plan. So the message to everyone is relax, stop judging yourself, and just get in the flow. And magic will happen, like meeting you guys.
So sweet, Carrie. We'll be back August the 6th, and we've got guests lined up for the next little while. Don't forget, if you're interested in the music course with Carrie and I, that will be August 30th, live course. And thank you again to Carrie, to Tammy, and most importantly, to all of you. I've got to know a lot of you folks out there. We have, Cheryl, we have Pamela, we have Georgie, we have Mary, we have Melissa, we have Lauren, Lynn.
Oh, you're going to miss some of them, and we don't want to do
and
that. Yeah, there's
Jackson,
so many.
we got Hammer Bammers, we got Valerie, we got. I'm just going through the ones in chat today, so I won't miss anyone.
Yeah,
His
all of
Highness
them.
is,
But also I want
Telos,
to,
Brown-Eyed Lady, Jeannie. I'm almost done. We got to make sure we got everyone that was in the chat today.
Lynn.
Yeah, we got Lynn.
Pippi.
And Pippi. There's Pippi.
Everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing.
one last thing is because I'm leaving Canada, big shout out to all of my family and friends here in this country. And I'm going to miss each and every one of you. I'm sorry that I didn't get as many stays with all of you as I had wished for, but gosh, it's been a magical time here, and I love each and every one of you. Yeah, you're brilliant souls. So come and
Thank you
visit.
all.
Much love, everyone. Bye
Bye.
now.